And are you refreshed? Good. Now what? Behind you? You are the one?
I realized as I got up here I wanted to change my question. Or do I? Or to avoid. Relationships.
Could be the grid filling in.
Could be. So relationships. I notice a pattern with what comes in and out of my life and types of people.
Based on?
Beliefs, conversations.
The vibration I've got going actively. So, do you like the pattern?
That's what I'm in discovery of. I don't like the end result of the pattern, but I like things about the pattern. In other words, what it shows up. There's things that I like, and I'm starting to practice on focusing on what you say repeatedly is just focus on what you like about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it never ends up working out.
Well, you got to stop saying that. Because that's a pattern. So you want to break that part of the pattern.
Yes.
So how do you break that part of the pattern? You don't say that anymore. Could it be that simple? Yeah?
Okay.
In other words, what you're saying is, this is what I've been observing, so how can I not observe what I've been observing? And we say by emphasizing the parts, you said most of it exactly right, by emphasizing the parts that are the way you want them to be. How has it been working out? It's not ending up the way you want it to. How's it ending up that isn't the way you want it to? Is it open-ended, still reaching for more? Is it done?
Is it done? No, it doesn't seem like it is done.
Why are you interested in a relationship?
Because I feel I'm at my best when I'm giving and sharing my life with somebody.
So it feels good to have a steady object of attention to which you can flow positive energy.
Very much.
So the most significant part of that statement is you like to flow positive energy.
Yes.
So is the ideal relationship someone who's very easy to flow positive energy toward because they just seem to extract it from you?
I'm not getting your question. Is it ideal?
It was a trap. That's why you didn't get it.
Yeah.
What we're getting at is, one of the things that you like about a steady relationship is that you don't have to keep searching. You
Yes.
find things. It's easier to focus in a positive expectation.
Yes.
Or it isn't, depending on who the person is. Some people, it's very easy to focus positively. And some people, it's more difficult to focus positively. So what's the ideal for where you are right now? What would be the ideal if you were a fly fisherman,
Mm-hmm.
or a bowler, or a tennis player? Are you looking for the easiest match, or are you looking for the match that evokes the most expertise from you?
Latter.
So? Is that part of what's going on? Do you feel that you've collected the data and you now know everything that you're looking for in a relationship, and you're ready to just have the universe yield everything as you have decided it to live happily ever after? Do you believe that there's ever a relationship that will stop giving opportunity for expansion?
No.
So if every relationship has the opportunity to keep yielding for opportunity for expansion, Esther thought she had the perfect relationship with Jerry until he died.
Right.
That just sucks.
Yeah.
In other words, that wasn't the deal. That wasn't part of the plan.
Right.
Perfect, not perfect. So this is what we're asking is, do you ever come to the end of the necessity for your personal alignment?
Do you ever come to the end? No.
What is the, we're asking more questions than you're answering. It's all right because it's the same answer to every one of them, and eventually we'll get there and you'll really hear it clearly. The relationship that you're really seeking to achieve is the relationship between you and you, and then every other relationship falls easily into place. So talk to us about what it is that you think keeps not ending up the way you want it to end up in these relationships.
what we call deal breakers, I would say. We can have things that we want, or we can have things that we don't want, and if those show up, then...
All right, deal breaker. That's really a powerful word. Let's focus there. A deal breaker is a reality that I am sort of forced to look at, forced to face, because it's being presented, that I cannot overcome with the power of my mind. Deal breaker. You have challenged my ability to create my own reality too much. Therefore, I must leave you. It's too hard for me. It's easy to love lovable people.
Right.
They're not deal breakers. The deal breakers are the ones who have the gall to have their own opinion about things. That differs with mine.
I enjoy that. I don't, to me, I know it's circumstance, but I don't want children. I'm very clear on that piece of myself. And I keep going back and forth in a relationship with somebody that does, and I want them to have that experience.
Should better be the first question you ask.
Say again?
Maybe it should be the first question you should ask. Do you want to live under a bridge? No. Do you want children? Those are my deal breakers.
Yeah, and the rest of the package is perfect, but and we don't have that agreement. I guess I don't want to surrender that, because it's easier to stay in that predictable pattern. I want to take risks in relationships. I want to be vulnerable.
How so?
In the doing of how so?
You want to take risks to a certain extent.
Yes.
But how do you suppose you came to such clarity about the children thing?
How did I come to that? From an experience of having a child and all the result of that relationship with his mother.
So a child sort of locks you into what feels like more like a permanent relationship. It's sort of like an
obligation,
a handcuff that you can't get away from.
It's a have to rather than a get to.
So what you're actually saying to someone is, I like you pretty good, but I'm not sure how long I will like you. So we better not do anything that forces me to like you past your expiration date. We're not making fun.
I hear you. Yeah. I hear you clearly. And you're exactly right. And
but you see, that's because you're dealing with, all of you are dealing with a flawed premise relative to relationships. There are two flawed premises. First of all, every relationship is eternal, whether there are children involved or not. But the next thing that's really a flaw in a relationship, and almost all humans step into this and find the discomfort of it, and it says, I'm going to find someone, and it will therefore, if I find the right one, it will be their responsibility to stay in a steady place where I can always count on feeling about them the way I feel about them right now. Everyone is expanding and changing and evolving and growing and becoming. The relationship itself must be allowed to be alive. It must be allowed to expand. And so what you're looking for are not promises, because no one can keep any of them anyway.
Right.
So you're not looking for promises. What you're looking for is enough compatibility that you have a pretty good chance of getting pretty good momentum going, where you will not lose yourself in the relationship. What you're reaching for is the freedom to continue to decide.
Yes.
I want the freedom to continue to decide. And in some ways, a relationship in and of itself, as from your perspective of it, belies that, because it sort of says, I'm going to get so hooked on you that then I won't have the freedom to not be hooked on you if I should choose to be. It's a freedom thing. It's a control thing.
Yes.
That you're feeling.
Yes.
And you can get around that, or get to the heart of it, by understanding that the only thing that anybody can control is their own relationship with who they are. That's what you're reaching for all the time. If we were entering into a relationship, standing in your physical shoes, it is our promise to you that our relationship vows or determination would go exactly like this. So far, I like you pretty good. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to do my best to stay in alignment with who I am, which means this relationship has a really powerful probability of not only surviving but thriving, because I'm going to do everything that I can do to be in alignment, which means I'm going to look for the best in you and in everybody. And I'm not going to talk hardly ever about things unwanted. And I'm going to keep myself so tuned in that I have source energy flowing through me, so that my capacity to love is going to be more than almost anybody you know, because it's going to be steady and consistent. And my capacity to love you is not going to be contingent upon anything that you do. I'm leaving you out of that part of the equation. I'm taking full responsibility for how I feel. And I'm going to practice it for a while. I've been practicing it for a while, and I'd like to practice it for a while with you, but I can't make any guarantees, because I want to be in alignment. I want to know that I can be in alignment without holding someone else hostage to standing on their head in lots of different ways in order to keep me in alignment. So what I'm saying to you, potential lover of my life, is that there are no deal breakers. There are no deal breakers. There is nothing that you could ask of me that would break this deal, because my relationship with you is not about that. My relationship with you is about my relationship with Source. And you're really pretty.
And you're single now.
You're really pretty. You're really smart. You're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. In other words, have fun with this. You don't have to make long-term promises, but in the meantime, collect some data. In other words, what you want to say to people who are coming to you is, I'm trying to find myself, and maybe we could hang around together while I find myself. And finding myself means I want to see how much time I can spend with you, with all of the variety that you might introduce into the relationship with me, while I stay in alignment with source energy. That's what I'm doing right now. And it is our promise to you that you'll not only find that alignment, but you'll find someone else who has exactly the same plan. Can you imagine two people coming together who are neither one holding each other hostage for the way the other one feels, tuning into source energy and living happily ever after, or not, but living happily ever after, or not holding anybody responsible for how they feel but themselves? How refreshing is that, you see? And that's really what you came to us to say. It is.
It is.